Welcome to Mighty Squid Studios for another episode of Mighty Music Talk. With special guest tonight, my lovely, beautiful wife, Miss Holly. Say hi to the folks, Holly.
Hi.
Okay. Tonight we're doing a little Jameson and ginger ale in her cup.
Jameson and cola, I ran out of.
Oh, cola. Oh, ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm doing the Clown Shoes Harvest Blender. Harvest Blender.
Do you need my readers?
Yeah, I think so.
They're upstairs.
IPA. So, we're going to make this a little mini-series because we've been together for like 24-ish years.
24 years.
And we've been to quite a few shows.
I was trying to do the math in my head today, and I think it's hundreds.
Oh,
of
easily,
shows.
easily.
Because over at least, because you get a factor, I even went into shows when I was pregnant with Melora. So there were at least,
I believe that was Motley Crue, right?
10 shows. I went to 2. I went to Cradle of Filth at the Palladium and Motley Crue. I went to Motley Crue the day before they put me on bed rest. So I don't know if that caused something, because we had to walk in a foot of snow in Boston. That was a mess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it was like, we've probably been to each year, except for the last few years because of stupid fucking COVID.
The Plandemic.
It was like a dozen or more shows a year that we were going to for 20 plus years.
So much fun.
And we met, well, not really. We didn't meet at the show. We met before, but our relationship started at a show.
Yeah, pretty much. That was Slayer, by the way.
Slayer!
Little funny little story before I forget about that Motley Crue show is I was actually going through the whole process of becoming a CEO, and so I'm at Motley Crue with my pregnant wife, and everybody around me decided it'd be a good idea to smoke weed. And I'm taking a drug test like the next day. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? What is going on? Excuse me, sir? It fucking sucked.
He literally sat like that through most of the show.
I basically
with his shirt up like this.
I held my breath for the whole show. It was kind of neat. No, it sucked actually. But so anyway, let's take it back. So here we are, getting ready. We had I probably had 15 people in my kitchen that night. The night we went to Slayer.
Yeah.
I got out of the shower with pretty much just a doily on.
You had your pants on, but no shirt on. Trust me, I remember.
Dripping wet.
You had on your
Soaked.
fucking windbreaker pants. Thank you very much.
Because I was stylish.
Yeah, he was very stylish. Fanny pack.
Mm-hmm.
Fanny pack.
Gotta put my shit somewhere, right?
No. Let's not talk about what I was wearing, though.
No, let's. No. So,
to be fair, I had just
here we go.
moved out of my oldest daughter's father's house because he was, I don't want to, we get along now. But at the time, and I packed up everything that whole morning. So long story short, I had to grab the cleanest items in the pile of clothes. Mm-hmm. So it was overalls, full length overalls with a black t-shirt.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, I had a black t-shirt on.
It was white.
I had a black t-shirt on and Converse sneakers. So
I get out of the shower dripping wet with a doily on.
I didn't wear a white shirt to Slayer. I wouldn't even have gone.
Huh?
Really?
So I come out with a doily on, soaking wet.
Wind pants.
And I'm like, yo, what's up? And all of a sudden I do this double take. And I'm like, all I saw was blonde hair and titties and overalls. I was like...
You could have cared less if I had on a fucking garbage bag.
So I did a double take. And I noticed she had a piece of hay in her teeth, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, so we got a farmer chick here. That's
okay.
fine. I guess we want a Slayer. It's fine.
That's where we're going. Hey, I can rock a fucking country concert, too. Eat a dick.
Okay. I'm just kidding. It wasn't a piece of straw. It was grass. But, so I was in an open relationship at that time. And,
Soon to close.
Yeah, soon to close. So she was on vacation trying to figure out what she wanted to do with her life. And so right out of the gate, I was like, God, I hope this chick's single. Fucking, yeah, let's do this. And she's going to Slayer. Okay. So yeah, we went to that show. That was an interesting show. Flirting the whole time. You want to tell them about the stick of gum thing? Very romantic, by the way.
I'm not even sure how. Like, we got left together on purpose. I'm pretty sure. My friend Kat, who was dating my brother Tim at the time, was with us, and I feel like we got left together on purpose because all of a sudden nobody was around us. So Squid's like, "Hey, you want to go up to the balcony?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So stupid. So we get up to the balcony and we're sitting there, and at the same time, mind you, we were both like, "Oh, Dead Skin Mask, it's my favorite song." So we were like, "Okay." And he's like, "Hey, you want a piece of gum?" It was
breath
like,
was kicking.
Oh, fuck off. So dumb. So dumb. Yeah. But anyway, that's not a very slick move, by the way.
No?
No.
It worked.
Did it, though?
24 years later. It all started from that stick of gum.
No.
And it wasn't even an enhancer. I don't think it was even fucking cinnamon.
I think it was like extra fucking
Could
spearmint.
have been spearmint.
It was definitely spearmint.
Or maybe peppermint.
Ew.
Probably spearmint.
Yeah. Wintergreen.
So anyway, that's what started it off. And shortly after that, we became an item. And just went to tons of fucking shows. Tons and tons and tons and tons.
It was,
so
no,
we're going to try to rewind it and show you and tell you about some of the highlights. It was a while before we
went to other shows.
You sure?
I think so. But then all of a sudden it turned into a thing. Like, that was just... Because we both realized that we were finally with people that the other person really wanted to go to shows all the time. And we both liked that. And it was hard to find that before because they were always stick in the mud.
Well, yeah, you were with a country guy.
Well...
And I was with a country girl.
I was only with a country guy for 2 years.
I was only with a country girl for 1 year.
I had my fiance before that. I had a lot of shows, and then it was like... And no. We're getting way off track. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I was in a situation where every time I put Manson on, she's like, "You really have to listen to that." I was like, maybe this ain't going to work after all.
But what happened when you got in my car?
Oh, that was the first thing. So we went on the first fucking date, all right? And get in the probe, right? You had the probe.
Probe.
I said, hold up. I know she went to Slayer, but I got to check some shit. So I immediately took the changer.
That's how fucking long ago
it was. A CD changer with 6 CDs in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Hatebreed? Okay. Oh, Downset. Well, goddamn.
Fat was in there too, I think.
Fat and probably Pantera. Incubus.
Cold Chamber.
And Cold Chamber. So I closed that up and I was like, this can possibly work. Let's go to dinner. Because I truly believe that I could never be with somebody that wasn't like totally into music, like, because I'm totally into fucking music. That's my whole fucking day.
He's rabid about music to the point where we don't argue about much, but we argue about money and music because
2 important things.
He gets very laser focused on stuff and does not stop. Well, I can't say that because you were the same way with Shadow of Intent, like the way you are with Shadow of Intent, because we know he's a psycho. Anybody that works with him probably knows that he's a psycho. You were the same way with Aborted.
Yeah.
But that died down. You were the same way with Cattle Decapitation before that.
They started bad-mouthing Trump.
But what I'm saying is...
Get out.
Shadow of Intent's day is coming. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Hey, if another band comes out that's better than them, why wouldn't I?
It's just funny. Because I'm just glad you're not like that with girlfriends.
That would be hard.
Best thing ever. Yeah. Bye, bitch. Bye.
It'd be hard to replace you for sure. Because I have a very high standard of chicks, as you can see.
You just like someone that tells you how it is.
Oh, shit. All right.
Shows.
So, went to a lot of the festivals and stuff like that, you know, and I remember the first time we saw Slipknot. Remember that?
Hated them.
Hated them.
Hated them.
I called him Shit Knot. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, mind you, what were we listening to at the time?
What was that show? It was like one of those festivals.
Local Bazooka. Way up in the fucking woods in Worcester. Green Hill, Green Mountain, Green fucking whatever the fuck it was. Awful. We had to park somewhere. Walk
Far
up.
away.
Wicked hot weather. All decked out. Had on fucking like platform boots. Vinyl. All this stuff. We had to go through the fucking woods. There was fucking mosquitoes. It was awful.
Yep.
We get there, hot and pissed off anyhow. Start drinking. The bands were awful until we wanted to get up there for Cold Chamber. We really didn't like anybody that whole day. We kind of went for Cold Chamber.
Was that other band there?
Reveille was there, but we missed them.
No, the other band that was like, they had like one album there. They kind of dressed in makeup. Oh, what the fuck was the name of them? I think it began with a C.
Crossbreed? Crossfade. No, Crossfade. I know who you're talking about. The guy with the stitches.
Yeah.
Different show.
That was a different show?
Totally different show. That was Local Bazooka.
That's what happens when you go to 7,000 shows a year.
So we wanted to get up because we knew Cold Chamber was going to be on a certain stage. So we start going up. We had no idea who Slipknot was at the time at all. I hadn't heard them. I don't think you had either. We start getting up there towards the front of the stage because that was where Cold Chamber was going to be. Machine Head was getting ready to go on the other stage. We'd already seen them. So we're getting up to the front of the stage and all of a sudden here comes Slipknot. And I'm like, I don't mind masks and stuff, obviously, because we grew up listening to Kiss, not masks, but makeup. And it was just one of those things. I don't want to sound like a prude, but I had a little girl at the time. And there was something about the way that Corey was getting little kids to flip everybody off.
I thought that was kind of cool, actually. But
At the time, because I didn't like them. I just thought they were, I don't know. At first, I didn't think they were going to, nothing. I just thought they were going to be crap, you know? So I was like, fuck that guy. And I remember Kat even said the same thing. I'm like, oh, what's he doing? Oh, he thinks he's cool. He's having little kids flip everybody off. That's real cool. And I'm like, people even wearing their masks and stuff. What the fuck is this fucking clown show? Stupid. And I'm like, ew, there's even a clown in the band. Like, it was just really dumb. So, ignored them. Watched Cold Chamber. Almost died. So did Kat, because they were crowd surfing. A guy came down with both of his feet on both of our heads. And we were like, That was bad. But I remember leaving there, and we, like, walked finally 5,000 miles to get back to the car. Hot, pissed off. We left during Primus. Get to the car, and we're like, fuck that Slipknot band. He goes, oh, Shit Knot, you mean? That was so funny, and, like, it became Shit Knot forever. And then when I was like, I'm going to buy their CD, like, a couple months later.
I was mad, by the way.
At Strawberries Records and Tapes, mind you.
Oh, you bought a fucking CD.
It was $9.99. It was on sale. So I grabbed it, and I'm like, I'm listening to it on the way home, I'm like, this is really good. Our stupid roommate at the time, I'm like, hey, have you heard these guys? No, I think they probably suck, don't they? I'm like, no, they're really good. So then he started liking them too. We were trying to tell Scooter, oh, I will never like Slipknot. And the next thing you know, he's like, Slipknot.
What had happened was at jam practice, my band members were fucking playing it constantly. And I feel like it's one of those things that it happened to me with Slayer as well. The first time I heard Slayer, I never heard anything like that before. I was over at my buddy's house and they fucking played Slayer and I was like, what the fuck is that? That's fucking crazy. Like, it's so crazy I can't even, like, comprehend it. Like,
see, you're older than me. When I first heard Slipknot, I was in, like, study hall in 7th grade. I mean, Slayer. Sorry, I've been drinking. When I first heard Slayer, I was in study hall in 7th grade and somebody let me borrow a tape.
When I first heard Slayer, I think I was in 2nd grade.
Slayer?
I was pretty... No, I think I know it was right around the time... Will Colby was the one that showed me Slayer.
I would think you would have probably been almost out of high school when you first heard Slayer.
No, I probably was around 14, I think.
No. Dude, you're almost 7 years older than me. There's no way your time
was I out of high school?
It had to have been fucking close.
Well, I graduated in 88.
I know.
So when did that album come out? It had to have been like 87.
86.
Thank you. So I was 14.
Okay, so Rain and Blood isn't the first one that I heard. The first one I heard was South of Heaven. And I was in 7th grade in study hall, and I remember I'm like, am I going to get in trouble for listening to this? Because it was one of those, like, I really like it, but I had it turned down so no teachers would hear it or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
hang on,
then
you totally cut me off of my whole scenario that I was trying to say.
I cut him off his whole life.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
So for me, it's kind of like that same thing. I went over to my buddy's house, Will Colby, and he goes, "Dude, check this band out." And I was like, I was listening to fucking White Lion back then, So all of a sudden he's playing like fucking Angel of Death, and I'm like, what in the fuck?
Are you saying you jumped from White Lion to Slayer? There was no Metallica in between. Come on.
Yeah. As soon as the Black Album came out, I fucking gave him one of these and never looked back.
The Black Album didn't come out until way after you heard Slayer. The Black Album came out...
Right, but I was never a huge Metallica fan. Like, White Lion was...
Ride the Lightning? Kill 'Em All?
I dug it, but I wasn't, like, totally into it. Like, I was into, like Man of War and stuff, like all these bands that I found...
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course it does.
Look up Man of War if you don't know who they are. That'll make total sense.
Yeah, their old stuff is actually really good, so...
Mm-hmm.
Great bass player.
Fur boots.
So, the fucking... And every time I went over there, he'd be playing Slayer again and playing them again. And after a while, I was like, dude, I fucking like this now. Like, I've heard it so many times now, little bits and pieces. So I went out and bought it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And I'm all about Slayer now. And I bought all their older albums and fucking... When South of Heaven came out, forget about it. I listened to that thing every fucking day, 3 times a day for like a year, I think. I fell asleep to it. I woke up to it.
Funny
I worked
story.
out to it.
Listen, when I first heard South of Heaven, my friend let me borrow that study hall, like I said. We were getting ready. My grandparents and I always went to Florida every year. We went to the Daytona Flea Market. And I was like, ooh, they had all kinds of records and tapes. And I'm like, go over and like, oh. And I look, I'm like, ooh, this is before the one. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I grab Rain and Blood and I'm like, and it had the big stupid parental advisory and all that stuff. My grandmother's like, what the hell is in that picture? I'm like, nothing.
That's when you know an album's good, when there's fucking a parental guidance thing on it.
But I mean, 7th grade. Come on.
So that was kind of the same thing for me, because I went to jam practice and those guys, we'd be breaking down on the fucking drums and shit, getting ready for a show, and they're fucking cranking Slipknot. And after a while, the same thing, it just fucking grew on me, and I was like, fuck, I love these guys. I don't want to actually say it out loud, but I fucking love these guys now. Fuck, now I'm going to have to listen to them.
You also
so fucking mad.
You also did the same thing with Cradle of Filth.
Yes. I didn't like them until I saw them live. And now I was like, oh shit, these guys are fucking great.
So how did that work, though? It's like, what's really funny is that we both hated Slipknot, even though we saw them live. So it was opposite with them. They had to grow on us another way.
I think we're in a different realm then, though. We're listening to like fucking like Incubus, stuff like that, like stuff that was a little more, rhythm, like metally.
But this talk was supposed to be about the shows we've been to, not where we heard albums first.
Like I said, this is going to be a long fucking series. Like, there'll probably be like 10 episodes of this, so. But at least the kids will have something to watch when we're dead.
So the first show we saw together, when we met-ish, we had met years before that, at his shows that he was in.
Disfigured motherfucker.
Slayer, Fear Factory, and Kilgore.
Mm-hmm. I was a big Kilgore fan.
I didn't mind him. I only liked that one. I liked one album.
I thought his voice was neat.
Which is funny because you don't like other bands that I like that have a similar voice.
Well, I'm different now. I've changed since then.
Doesn't matter.
It was
the
24
voice,
years ago.
The sound of his voice is still the same. Really?
When was the last time you heard me listen to Kilgore? Thank you. I moved on.
I can tell you when the last time it was. I heard you listen to Martika's Toy Soldiers down
I
here.
love Martika.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with Martika?
You guys need to... That's who you need to cover next.
Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be a Patty song.
Shave the Bucky Chicklets bullshit off. Oh, I hate it so bad. I want to rub Nair on his face while he's sleeping. I hate it so bad. You look like an asshole.
Wow.
I love you, but...
That escalated quick.
Straight asshole. You know how I feel about that mustache. I hate it so bad. He sits there like this when he's watching TV, and I'm like, yeah, see?
Alright, so... And then we got into the... She worked at a radio station, and she got, like, free limos and shit. And all we had to pay for was a tip. So we're like, motherfucker, let's go to some shows. And we're big Manson fans. I think we started off being Manson fans, right? Because... I was already into Antichrist
you had already gone to see... Yeah, I couldn't go see that Manson show because I had just had my daughter. She was only a couple months old.
That, to this day, is still one of the best shows I've ever been to.
We could have met that time, and that would have been weird because you were with Asshole Face.
Yeah, it was in Fitchburg. What was it? What do they call that place?
The Wallace Civic Center.
The Wallace Civic Center. For that Antichrist Superstar Manson show. It was
Oh,
fucking
dude,
amazing.
I missed the Wallace Civic Center so bad.
Remember the Pantera show there?
The Pantera show.
Dude, my feet didn't even touch the ground the whole time. I was like this.
Not only that, but where you could touch the ground, it was so sweaty and muddy and gross on that floor because, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they, it's an ice rink, don't they just put the panels over it? It was melting. If that's what they do, the whole thing was like a mud pit inside the Civic Center, and that was just really good. But I know you don't like them at all, but I saw Danzig with Typo Negative opening.
Oh my God.
Listen to me. Pete Steele, rest in peace. I love you, sir. That was one of my favorite shows, and I had a choice. I could go this way to meet Pete Steele, or I could go this way to meet Glenn Danzig, and I went this way to meet Glenn Danzig. Did not disappoint. I had a rare Danzig experience because he can be a dick. He was super nice. He giggled. He was so cute. He stood up and gave me a hug. It was so good. But I missed meeting Pete that night, so I ended up meeting him. How many years later? God. Years later. Anyway.
I wouldn't even want to be in the same country as that show.
Wallace Civic Center was so good for shows. I saw Rage Against the Machine there. That was good.
I missed Rage Against the Machine, and I'm mad about that.
He didn't like them until way after they were done. You started liking them 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, they were pretty much done by the time.
Oh, they were done.
Like Guerrilla Radio was like, I fucking love that song.
Yeah, anyway, that's not even the best song. That's one of.
Well, no. After I listened to other stuff, I get into it. But yeah, no, Danzig and Typo Negative, they're just trash musicians.
Listen,
I can't deal with it.
Listen, it's a thing. Don't down the shit. Don't do it. We don't want to have this argument. You don't have to like everything that I like. You can't be all offended.
I'm not offended at all.
He gets really offended if I put it on in the car.
No, I stop and get out.
Such an asshole.
I don't want my ears to hear that mess.
He spent an entire Typo Negative set with his back to the band, with his arms folded, like a pouting baby.
In the room.
He looked like a pouting baby.
Was that the night that he literally said, "Hey, if anybody's getting bored, they can go hang out in the bathroom"?
That's part of his shtick, or it used to be. It was a very we're the worst band in the world. I wouldn't blame you if you went home now. Like, Peter was so funny when it came to stuff like that.
Isn't that a red flag? He even knows.
No, he's funny. He was funny. Shut up. God.
Anyway.
You're just mad because he has a baseball bat.
Well,
yeah,
it's probably a little flimsy now. Just saying. Could be a little flimsy. Yeah. But that night we went to go see them in Coal Chamber. Coal Chamber was awesome that night.
Should we talk about that poor girl that was in the front row next to us at that show?
Is that the time that I accidentally?
Okay.
I'll let her tell the story.
All right. Squid has superhuman strength anyhow. Just in general, he doesn't realize his own strength. But when he's drinking, it's worse. Ooh. Did we have a limo that night?
Probably.
Because that was the night we met Coal Chamber outside. We had a limo.
Bug came on and handed us a dog?
Yes. We held pugs that night.
That was awesome.
That was the night Cabal got hit on at the gay bar.
The gay bar.
So we definitely had the limo. Okay, so we get down to the front row. I honestly don't remember a lot of it because I was lit, beyond lit. I actually lost him for a bit.
I actually probably just fell down, but...
No, I found him. We ended up going towards the front. We weren't really in the front. We were like in the second row, kind of. And this poor girl and her boyfriend were holding onto the rail. Squid's all excited. Coal Chamber comes out. He starts doing this aerobic motion. Hitting this girl in the face.
Didn't even realize
Bloody nose. Her boyfriend's like, "Oh, hey, dude, can you stop?
Can you stop punching my girlfriend in the face?"
Stop hitting my girlfriend. I'm like, Squid, stop. This girl's like, "Oh, gosh."
I had no idea. I was oblivious to
But
it.
he finally apologized. She didn't move though. She stayed right there. She just
Yeah, I'm
wiped
just
it
wilding
off.
out. And next thing you know, she's like, fucking,
Yeah.
I had like fucking 1,000 beers that night.
Oh,
so
I'm crying.
yeah,
No.
I apologize to her. Because it's not
Listen,
something
I'm
I
pretty
would...
sure you were actually drinking hard stuff that night, and you usually don't.
Yeah.
That was back in the
And I remember, because we went out to meet Bug and he was handing us his pugs and stuff. He goes, "You guys not in there to watch Typo Negative?" And I was like, "Fuck no." I said, "If you guys weren't here tonight, I never would have been here in the first place." He's like, "Oh." But they can't really talk bad about other bands because they play with them. So he was just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
That was a fun night though. Especially
Avalon?
our friend Cabal, a keyboard player back then in my band, and he wanders into a gay bar, doesn't even realize it, and gets hit on like 1,000 times.
He's like, "Oh, that was saying to like my shirt." I'm like, probably
Where did you go?
because...
That place over there?
Way to go, Blue Oyster.
Did you see all the guys in leather chaps?
It was actually our limo driver
Red
that was
flag.
like, "Oh, that's a gay bar." He was like, "Oh."
That was fucking hilarious, though. The thing about it is he could fit right in, though.
Wow.
I mean, he could just go in there and be like, "Hey, guys," and like nobody would know the difference. He's like a chameleon. He like just fucking like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
he blends in with the crowd.
Yep. Axis, Avalon. I don't know which. It's kind of the same, but I think it was the Avalon that show was at. That was a weird lineup, actually. It was Puya,
Love Puya.
Typo Negative, and Cold Chamber. What a weird lineup.
If you guys have never heard Puya, they're kind of like a hardcore band, but they have Spanish music. So like the verse will be like,
Hardcore band.
well, it's like fucking, you know, like,
They're not
it's like,
hardcore.
well, it's heavy in the chorus and it's Spanish in the verse. It's fucking pretty cool. Like during the verse, you're like on the beach with a martini. All
Alright, hear me out. They're like Il Nino meets 1 Minute Silence.
Yes.
Yes.
the
Everybody's
chorus
gonna have
is
to
a fucking
look up
heavy
1
as
Minute
fuck.
Silence because they were really good.
I used to play drums to Puya all the time just because it was fun doing the fucking Spanish beats and then fucking hitting it hard. All right, well, I think that probably does it for episode 1. There's going to be a lot of episodes. I hope you guys enjoy this because we have fun doing it. We love it. You're basically hearing about our whole life and all the fun times we had. And
Our whole life. You can't sum up our whole life to this. To just this.
not just one episode. That's why there's going to be more episodes.
Oh.
Crazy. So I'll see you in episode 2.